Ben Shapiro, welcome back to the show. This is the third time on trigonometry. Let's talk about Israel. Let's go.
Months is what's happening in Israel and Gaza. We've had people from different sides. You know, we had Norman Finkelstein on recently. We've had people who are very pro
Top G, Norman Finkelstein. Let's go, baby.
Israel as well.
He has some amazing arguments about 1948, the 1947 lines, all of those. He has amazing arguments about the armistice agreements, why you should not be following it. Really good arguments.
I guess you're one of the people out there who has been most strongly articulating the idea that Israel's war is a just war. Can you explain why?
Sure. When you are a sovereign country and a terrorist group crosses your border and slaughters 1,200 of your citizens and then takes 250 of those citizens captive back into terror tunnels that you've spent 20 years building with billions of dollars in foreign aid while simultaneously tyrannizing your own population and firing rockets every so often.
You're justified to kill 30,000 civilians?
And into the neighboring country. Then it seems to me the extirpation of your rule is not only just, it
seems to be that it's just to create one of the largest bombing campaigns in all of history's mankind in the most densely populated area in the world.
It's obligatory. And so the idea that Israel is going in to end Hamas's control over this territory is what any self-respecting country would do with a neighboring country that had initiated.
Because 250 hostages were taken into custody, we had to kill 40,000 children. Until now, we're killing children in Rafah, and we're bombing their houses down. They're being stuck in the under the rubble forever. This is absolutely crazy.
Vast, unprecedented terror assault inside its countries, slaughtering men, slaughtering women, slaughtering babies.
Can't Hamas use the same argument? Well, we had to go into October 7th. I mean, they slaughtered all our babies. They raped our women. Hamas has the same argument.
And then, again, retaining hostages, including 5 Americans right now. I find it difficult to believe that anyone would think at least the initial...
5 American hostages? Fucking kill them all! Kill them all!
Initiation of the war was not just. That's the one where I'm utterly befuddled. There are people who somehow seem to believe that the innate justification for the war itself is wrong, which I would need an explanation of that. Then there is the question as to whether the conduct of Israel during the war has been just. I'm of the belief that by all available data, not only has the conduct been just, it has been unprecedentedly so.
Yeah, I remember when they murdered Hind Rajab while she's on the phone. They killed her whole family one by one on the phone, and then they murdered her. Remember, that was completely justified. To murder Hind Rajab, the little girl with... and she saw she sat there while her parents rotted in the car seats in front of her and around her. Everyone was dead. And she died too. Completely justified. You know the secret hidden mass graves that they found in the hospital backyards? Completely justified. How they acted like they're civilians and they went into a hospital. She was carrying a fake baby. One of their operations, she carried a fake baby, acted like this is a real baby. And went into the hospital, and when she got in, she pulled out the AK-47 IDF soldier. Completely justified. When they murdered everyone in Al-Shifa hospital with a bombardment of weaponry for no apparent reason whatsoever. Besides that, they've been warned to leave. Completely justified. Ben Shapiro, you are right. Israel had the right to murder every single civilian it has because 250 hostages went to the hostage zone in the tunnels, you know. And there's 5 fucking Americans. You're right. You were justified to kill every last 2 million from the last 2 million population. And I hope you get all the kids too.
I've yet to hear...
What do you want me to say, man? The fuck? If I support Ben Shapiro, that should be my position. You should be able to say that out loud. Why are you against me? This is Ben Shapiro's position. He feels like it's justified till now that 40,000 civilians have died. That means until the last baby.
A situation.
How can he claim that babies were killed on October 7, but he forgot about every single baby post October 7? What's happening here? What happened to those babies?
In which, during a war, the power that is fighting to extirpate a terrorist group or an opposing power is simultaneously also supplying that group, which is what is happening, with power, with water, with food, with humanitarian aid, because Hamas is stealing a huge chunk of what's going into the Gaza Strip, and everybody knows this. and then simultaneously risking its own soldiers in order to go house by house as a
Oh, poor Israelis. How can they risk their soldiers? Let's just fucking bomb the whole house and kill every civilian in it. Because we don't want to risk our soldiers. What a disgusting move by a military organization that supposedly is the best military in the world. That they don't want to risk their fucking soldiers by going into these buildings that have civilians in them. So they just bomb the whole building. Because they don't want to risk the soldiers. So we just kill civilians? Because we don't want to risk soldiers? What a disgusting... I don't know how he can justify all of this. Just you saying that you have to do it doesn't mean you are justified in doing it, Ben Shapiro. If I stand in front of you and I say I have to punch you in the face because you are looking at me in a way that to me signals you need to be punched in the face, does that mean I literally have to punch you in the face? Is there another solution that's possible? Maybe you can close your eyes? Mental illness.
opposed to simply taking advantage of its complete air superiority over the entire region, letting people know weeks in advance of any assault in a particular area to allow for humanitarian movement within these particular areas. All of the, for example, focus on Rafah as a place where Israel is about to commit some sort of human rights atrocity. Over about 1 million people have already been moved quietly from Rafah out of that area so as to clear that area for the possibility of uncovering terror tunnels.
It's called Rafah. He knows it's called Rafah. I don't know why he's called Rafah.
Which are linked with Egypt, unfortunately. Israel has lost
He's either mentally ill or he cannot say Rafah.
something like 260 soldiers in the process of this. Thousands of people have been wounded in the course of
Wallah, slap him in his face. Wallah, in his own house, in front of his own mother.
carrying out this combat. Their terrorist to civilian kill ratio is the lowest in the
crazy.
history of urban warfare.
You're crazy. You think any human being is going to talk to me like that? You're insane.
And so my
You're
question
actually
to all the
insane.
people who are suggesting
I want to
that
see a human being talk to me like that, bro.
Israel is doing something unprecedentedly horrible is, can you suggest an alternative whereby
Ben's argument is I was going to punch him in the face if he talked to me wrong, so he has the right to kill me. That's not an argument.
Israel
Or he could just stop talking to me in the wrong way. What the fuck?
is capable of extirpating Hamas, getting rid of Hamas's leadership?
Or take the punch. What the fuck? I don't deserve death for a punch.
That is not what they're doing. I've yet to hear anybody actually explain what the alternative would be other than Israel should
No,
not
that's a body for a punch.
do anything and they should
That's not comparable. I don't know. Kanye West, figure it out.
leave Hamas in place.
Well, right. When we had Bassem Youssef on, and that video has done crazy numbers, because I kept asking him, like, what should Israel have done? But very often...
Yeah, but Hamas can claim national security. They're the governing power of Gaza. And Gaza is under occupation. And when Hamas went in, they went to the military zones. They went into the boundaries in Gaza. There was barely there's maybe one operation that extended maybe over to 9 kilometers or 8 kilometers. Every other operation was right on the border of Gaza. They have their own sovereignty as well. This is an argument that I've already destroyed. Gaza has its own sovereignty. They claim upon its own sovereignty. So that means Hamas is its governing force. Even if Israel doesn't accept it, that's the only party that's that's its only military arm. So what happens is the military arm of Gaza, the sovereign state of Gaza, went into a military operation and conducted a military operation just like the IDF is doing right now. Why is the IDF justified in doing this operation, but Hamas is not? Hamas has the same claims the IDF has. There's a boundary, they're breaking the boundary, we're a sovereign territory, we need to protect our civilians. It's the same fucking claims. Don't give one the right to claim it, but don't give the other.
People on...
I've already destroyed this claim. Hamas is a sovereign entity, and it's a government of itself, and it actually is a military force. It's the military arm. Hamas is the military arm of the Gaza. It's basically, and Gaza is a sovereign state. That means it's the military. That means it's the military of Gaza. So it has ability to conduct operations around its borders. Yes, this is actually completely legitimate. Let alone the UN actually justifies any resistance movement. Any resistance movement justified as long as it's against settlers and actually IDF soldiers. But they can't go against citizens. But that's what I'm saying. Hamas can claim they're just going after settlers and IDF soldiers. They actually have a better claim than IDF soldiers have. IDF can only claim we're going after Hamas, whereas Hamas can claim we're not going after any citizens, we're only going after the settlers and the IDF soldiers, which is a lot more than the Hamasis.
That side of the argument, their argument is Gaza is a
It's
concentration
not facade, man. You just need a big brain to understand it. Small brains can't understand this concept. I get it.
camp.
If you have a small brain, yeah, I get it. You can't understand this. Maybe like Ben Shapiro, he's a very small figure. Compared to me, he's tiny. And so I get why he can't understand this. His brain is probably much smaller than me as well. But if you have a big brain like me, it's very easy to understand. There's nothing difficult, nothing complicated about the situation at all. Just give me the facts and I will give you the claim. And I'll give you the conclusion. There's nothing
You can't start
bad about
history
it
on
all.
October 7th. Everything that was
Everyone has their sides, yeah, but there's only one truth.
happening prior to that should not have been happening. What do you expect an oppressed people to do?
Okay, so
And only if your brain is small enough to not know about the history of Palestine and Israel can you make these claims. Your brain has to be a little bit bigger, and you need to listen to more of my arguments because I've already went through this. I've done 7-hour arguments. I've done the debates with Isaac. I've proven this already. He couldn't answer any of my claims.
I mean, the generalized answer is not to walk into a civilian area and slaughter men, women, and children would be typically the answer to that. As far as the history of the conflict, I mean, we can have arguments about the history of the conflict.
Even Israelis are against killing Palestinians. He doesn't have to be Palestinian.
And go into all the nooks and crannies of what is for the Jews a 3,000
He's just a Zionist. You have to understand there's a difference between an Israeli and a Zionist. You're not understanding.
year history in the region, and what is for the Arabs about a 1,300-year history in the region, if you're talking about Muslim Arabs, and if you're talking about Palestinians, what is about a 70-year history.
70-year history of the Palestinian mandate, not 70-year history of the Palestinian people. Those people were already existing there. Actually, what are you going to claim, that there's only 20-year history of Transjordan? That means that after Transjordan was gone, there's no more people. They don't have any rights to any of their buildings. They still live there. You just took their rights away from them because you broke their government away and you kicked them out. But they're still, like, they are part of that land. Just because the Palestinian mandate was 70 years old doesn't mean the people in there living in the Palestinian mandate had just arrived there 70 years old or ago. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's a very tiny brain, shit arguments. And anybody can believe these arguments if you have a very small brain.
In the region, considering that the Palestine Liberation Organization was founded in 1964, so 64-year history in the region, if you're talking about the PLO as sort of the consolidation of Palestinian peoples under one banner. And again, I'm distinguishing there because historically speaking, many of the Palestinians are Egyptian or Lebanese or Turkish or Jordanian or trans-Palestinian, meaning like from the area of Transjordan or British Mandate Palestine. All of that is interesting and complex. What is not particularly interesting or complex is, does a country have a sovereign right to defend its own citizenry in the face of a
I dare Ben Shapiro come debate me. He's fucking spewing bullshit. I dare him come debate me. Wallah, I'll embarrass his ass.
terrorist assault? And
Wallah, I'll
anybody who would
embarrass Ben
justify,
Shapiro. Don't
as for
come
example,
debate
Norman
me.
Finkelstein has suggested,
Me, small guy with one viewer. Wallah, I'll fucking destroy you, Ben Shapiro. Wallah, you don't want to debate me. Wallah,
that it warmed the
Wallah, you'll get so embarrassed. Wallah, you will explode my channel. You don't ever want to debate me. I know why you
fiber
will.
of his being.
Give me 20 minutes of your time. Wallah, I'll expose your dumbass.
A terror assault like we saw on October 7th, that's insane. I've yet to
Let me give you 4 reasons why.
Anyways, he's just gonna spew bullshit after that. I dare you, Ben Shapiro. Stop bullshitting. Stop bullshitting. Come debate me. Talking bullshit about Palestinian man has 70-year history. What 70-year history? What are you talking about? Talking about from 1880. First of all, Herzl made his resolution on his first Congress in 1889. Or 1889. So I don't know. I don't even know what the fuck kind of dates he's talking about. 1900. 1900, nothing happened in 1900. All his dates are actually wrong. I don't know what he's claiming in 1964. Anyways, 1964, that doesn't matter. 1964, everything has already been established. And in 1964, what was happening was you were setting up for another war so you can steal more lands. But you had already stolen the lands. From 1949, you had already stolen the same lands. 1964, the only difference that happened is you went into Julan Heights. And you got a little bit deeper into West Bank and into Gaza, but you already took those lands. You already took everything else around them. So the 1947 lines had already been destroyed in 1949. So why are you talking about 1964? Who cares about 1964 if they got destroyed in 1949? Since 1949, those lines after 1940, the 1947 lines, the 55%, became 80% in 1949, but that was illegal. Completely illegal occupation. 30% of Palestine was completely illegally occupied until 1967, where they claimed that now they own the land because the UN resolution 242 gave them the rights to own that land, but told them back off of the rest, back off of Julan Heights. We can't give you Julan Heights. You're sounding insane. But if you guys don't see What's happening is that history is repeating itself. UN is about to print a new resolution, 484, whatever they want to call it, where they're going to give Gaza, West Bank, and Golan Heights to Israel. Watch this and mark my words, in 2025 they will give them, because that's exactly what happened. The same territory was illegally occupied before, from 1948, 49, all the way to 1967. It was illegally occupied. They went and gave it to them after that. Now they're illegally occupying Gaza, West Bank, and Golan Heights, and watch, they're going to give it to them again. And then they're going to keep going in deeper and deeper and take every other Arabic nation. We will not allow this. You want us to allow this project to continue, where they just keep taking our lands, Arabic lands? You know they're in Syria already. This is my lands. I'm not going to allow this to happen.